annoyed today at a bunch of pig-ignorant morons on Facebook that are painting Americans with all one brush. Not surprisingly, generally Europeans. Now, there are almost as many people in the United States as there are in all of Western Europe. There's somewhere around 320 million people in the United States, 350 million in Western Europe. I guess that depends on what you consider Western Europe. But painting all Americans with the same brush is like painting all Europeans with the same brush. We all know that the Germans and the French and the Italians and the Greeks and the British are all different because they all have different cultural expectations and they all have different, they've grown up differently, and it is no different in the United States. We have some advantages and some disadvantages. Disadvantage, the Europeans threw a bunch of religious nut jobs over here that got rolling on the high end of crazy. That's a disadvantage. Advantage, we have better resources and more space. And a sort of dynamism that has caused some friction. In any case, I find the whole thing annoying, but I also find it fascinating because I really, if I were to paint Americans with a whole brush, which I would not, as previously stated, I find that there is a certain amount of brashness. There's no doubt about it. In the 20th century, America came unto its own from being a relatively provincial farming country to a world power, and you don't do that without brash. You don't do that without resources and determination. And heck, that rubs me wrong in just people. So I get that. I totally get that. At the same time, though, we have a sort of weird inferiority complex, too. And I think that comes from the old provincial times, that the sophistication of the old world is a sort of bit of an inferiority complex, and I believe those two play really badly with each other and create some of the misconceptions. And then, of course, there's the fact that, like any population of people, we have idiots. And unfortunately, in this day and age, idiots have very loud voices. And, of course, news and television likes to amplify very loud voices and amplify idiots, and so it's not good. And all of this comes around to chocolate. Don't ask me. I'm just segueing there. It's related. I hate European chocolate. Just that simple. I'm sick of listening to Europeans tell me how great their chocolate is. It's sickly sweet and it cloys to the mouth. Disgusting. I will take a good old-fashioned Hershey's chocolate any day because it isn't so sickly sweet or cloying in the mouth. Although it can occasionally cloy, but still. It's what you're grown up with. It's what is your expectation, and there is nothing intrinsically superior about it. But yet over here there is that inferiority complex. Oh well, it's fine European chocolate. It's like fine European chocolate. It's like, stop kidding yourselves. It's a joke. But I will talk about bad and yet good chocolate. Those round ball chocolates, Lindor or something like that, that they're disgusting they're disgusting, but they're incredibly expensive, and people give them as gifts, I guess, to people they hate. I wouldn't eat these, but here, I'll give them to, I don't know. Some people seem to like them. I can't stand them. But it's interesting that that style has kind of gotten a sort of cachet to it that is like, ooh, that's fancy. So let me tell you, if you're not familiar with, if anyone familiar with Junior Mints, Junior Mints are really cheap chocolate mints. They're yay big. They come in a box, and I mean they are the bottom of the barrel of chocolate mints, and I love them, and have always loved them from when I was a kid, and because I like chocolate mints, and they're kind of a dark chocolate on the outside, but I mean it's a dark wax. I mean it's not a fine chocolate, nonetheless. I love it. But I was in Big Lots, which is a clearance store. There's one near where we go to lunch sometimes, and we just go in there and see if we can find anything cheap. And it's Valentine's Day, and looked over, and they had banks of cheap stuff packaged up to look like nice chocolate. And that is where I discovered these Junior Mint Deluxe. And let's just go in here. This is the cheapest of the cheap chocolate, and yet, oh, look at that pack. Oh, someone's been eating these. I wonder who that's been. Oh, Donna. And inside, we've got the lovely little, so they're not quite balls, they're actually flat on the bottom, but still, all dressed up and ready to go out for a party. And it's still the same cheap stuff. And it's like, but I think I'm going to have one anyway. With a glass of proper milk. Whole milk, which is really only 4% fat milk. Whole milk. This is what makes it great. My phone just made a woman's head turn. And I mean that in the literal sense of the word. I was at Quick Trip, and I was at the soda fountain, and it's a big soda fountain, and a cute young lady, Quick Trip employee, was standing over at the other end cleaning the spigots or something. And apparently someone started I think, Periscope live stream, probably, and my phone literally whistled at her. It does that noise, and she just turned and stared at me like I had just been an asshole and whistled at a young lady, and it was my phone. I promise, it was my phone. Time to change that, Periscope. Time to change that. Okay, tomorrow's the day. We're up late. Ooh, late. Shouldn't be up late. Have to get up early and get out and head. We're heading to Los Angeles, and Gallifrey 127. That's not 127. It's Gallifrey 1, number 27. Science fiction convention. Basically a Doctor Who convention. And so I'm just going to whip this Tedium Unlimited out with some scraps of stuff I recorded throughout the week. A bit of rambling. And then hopefully we'll have some exciting stuff during the course of the weekend. So remember, in the meantime, especially if you want to see Gallifrey 1, which is very hard to get into, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the way, or in, or at, or around California.